Hello and welcome to Cut Into the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben and I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
And Claire.
Hey.
Today is a movie special. We're going to talk about Alien, the 1979 horror sci-fi classic. 8.4 on IMDb. Probably agree with that?
Yeah, it's a classic.
Classic, yeah.
Pretty much spawned the horror sci-fi genre in the modern age.
Yeah. It was Fox's answer to Star Wars. The Star Wars came out in 1977 and massive global hit, and they were like, right, we need a sci-fi film. And the only one on the table was Alien. And Alien is completely different to this fucking Star Wars you can imagine. Star Wars is about hope and
the hero's journey.
Yeah, overcoming evil and that, and this is just...
And a tale of a terrorist boy who takes on the government and kills millions of people.
Yeah.
A young boy from a backwater planet who becomes radicalised and becomes a terrorist.
Yeah, it could be seen that way.
The more I think about it, the more I'm leaning towards it.
The rebellion was going on before him. Yeah.
If the government was unjust, then they got a right, haven't they?
Yeah, you see, but we never find out what life is like living on your average empire planet. It could be quite successful, quite prosperous. We don't know that.
Prosperous for the few that deal in weapons and arms manufacturers, isn't it? We learned that in the sort of more modern Star Wars films.
Yeah, true. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Star Wars. Let's thank some new and returning listeners first. Dublin in Ireland, welcome back. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Singapore. Cheadle Hulme, I think that's how you say it, in the United Kingdom. Israel, Givertime in Israel. Frankfurt am Main in Germany. Logrono in Spain. Columbus, Ohio. Mondecange in Luxembourg. San Salvador in El Salvador, that's a new one. Preston, United Kingdom. Boardman, Oregon. Cumming, Georgia. Who's Georgia? Brentford, United Kingdom. Telford, that's our hometown. Dallas, Texas. Hammersmith in the United Kingdom. I hope that's Richie and Eddie. It won't be Richie anymore, sadly. Indiana, sorry. Porterville in Missouri. Ashburn in Virginia. And Guadalajara, Spain. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, let's move on to the movie then. So, as we pointed out just before we did that, the origins of this movie are basically as a response to Star Wars.
Yeah. Written by Dan O'Bannon, Ronald Shusett. Although the script was edited a lot by David Geiger and Walter Hill.
Oh. Right.
Yeah, a lot of it was changed in the original script, yeah. And Ripley was meant to be a man in the original one.
From what I read, basically all the roles were written to be unisex.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter, but they did see Ripley as more of a male character.
Right, okay.
But Sigourney Weaver, I think, kills it. She's obviously Ripley. Tom Skerritt plays Dallas. John Hurt is Kane. Veronica Cartwright as Lambert. Harry Dean Stanton as Brett. Ian Holm as Ash. Yaphet Kotto as Parker. And his only film credit, Balaji Badijo, if I pronounce that right. He is the alien. He's 6'10", and they saw him at a bar and went, that guy should be the alien.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they wanted...
He was like, I'm just a drunk in a bar.
I'm just a drunk Nigerian dude in a London bar. You're in a film with no sunshine. So the idea for Alien came out when writer Dan O'Bannon was studying cinema at university, and he made a science fiction film with legendary director John Carpenter and concept artist Ron Cobb. I can't see the word Cobb without pronouncing it like that, I'm sorry.
Ron Atkinson, you need him to pronounce it because of the way he pronounces B's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cobb.
Called Dark Star, which you've seen, Mike. I haven't seen that. Claire? No.
It's not bad, it's like a sci-fi comedy sort of thing. There's an alien that's a beach ball. It's very weird. But it's like a student film.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's pretty decent.
The whole experience left O'Bannon wanting to do a story more focused on horror with an alien that actually looked real. Ronald Shusett was writing an early version of Total Recall, and he was so impressed with Dark Star that he contacted Dan O'Bannon to work together on their films. They chose to work on O'Bannon's project first. They thought it'd be a lot cheaper to make, and by that point O'Bannon had a script called Memory that was 29 pages long, as it was essentially the opening scenes of Alien. The crew awoke from hypersleep by a mysterious signal coming from a planet which they would go and investigate. And that was as far as he got, and wasn't sure what the alien was going to be or even look like. O'Bannon then worked on a film adaptation of Dune, where he went to Paris and spent 6 months working on it. He met several artists there, including Chris Foss, H.R. Geiger and Jean Mobius-Garand. Although he found Geiger's art disturbing but captivating at the same time, so he wrote a script with a creature based on his work.
Beautiful artwork, if you've seen any of it.
Do you know that Geiger got stopped going through Belgian customs, and they were like, with all his artwork with him, and they were like, these photos, the fuck's this? And he's like, why would you think they're photos? Where am I going to get these kind of pictures? Hell. It's literally what he said to him, and it's like, really? So O'Bannon returned to Los Angeles to live with Ronald Suchet, and they both returned to work on O'Bannon's memory script. Suchet suggested using one of his film ideas about gremlins invaded a B-17 bomber during World War II, and the other half of the script would take place on a spaceship. The working title for the script was going to be Star Beast, but O'Bannon didn't like it and changed to Alien, and I think that is a good idea.
Great idea.
Yeah, but I still quite like Star Beast.
I don't. I'm not really down for Star Beast, because it's like, Star Wars? Oh, what can we call it? Star Beast. That'll do. Nah. Suchet thought that perhaps one of the crew could be implanted with an alien embryo that would burst out of him, which he thought would be a good explanation as to how the alien boards a ship. O'Bannon was inspired by many films when he wrote the script, including 1951's The Thing from Another World, 1956's Forbidden Planet, and 1965's Planet of the Vampires.
I've only seen one of them, Forbidden Planet. Got Leslie Nielsen in it.
Right, so let's start with the film.
Yep.
Yeah.
So obviously the tagline, in space, no one can hear you scream. One of the best taglines in my opinion.
Yep.
Right, so we start the film with a view of the Nostromo. It's a long panning shot. It's very much like the opening shot of Star Wars with the Death Star. So it pans along. And you see the Nostromo, which looks like a big floaty castle, in my opinion. 7 crew, and it's got 20 million tons of mineral ore on its way home to Earth. Yeah. So, the crew of the spacecraft Nostromo are awakened from their stasis sleep after the ship detects what might have been a distress signal from a small planetoid. It's a corporately owned expedition which is returning to Earth. And
we're definitely in a capitalist future, aren't we?
Yeah.
Very much so. The company pretty much owns everything. I'm assuming that the company is Weyland-Yutani.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's still class structure, class conflict between Brett and Parker and the others because they're officers and they're the grunts. They're not even that, are they?
They're the engineers, and you've got the flight crew. But we sort of had this discussion like, hey, we want equal shares. The 2 engineers and the flight crew, and he's like, yeah, you get what you're given in your contract. You agree to the contract. No, we want equal shares. But it's a pointless argument because both of them are equally important to the mission as the other, aren't they? The engineers can't fly the ship, and the flight crew can't repair it.
Yeah, but white collar gets paid more than blue collar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's the way it is. It's unfair completely because we've shown during the pandemic that the most important people that stack the shelves and drive the trucks and.
What people that drive the trucks haven't got any left? What do you mean?
Yeah.
The ship's computer is Mother, and it tells Captain Dallas that they've got to touch down at this place, have a look, see what's about.
I just want to say that as being a capitalist future, it's a very dirty, used future, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like Star Trek, everything's clean and brand spanking new. This is old, it's breaking down.
It looks really industrial,
yeah,
doesn't
it does,
it?
yeah.
All the ships and...
Mixture of analogue and digital as well, yeah.
Which makes sense because those kind of things would be like put together by the lowest bidder, and they're designed to have a lifetime of Christ knows how long. I mean, they're saying they're 10 months from Earth when they're woken up early. So let's assume that they're halfway home, so it's a 20-month trip, 40 months that way and back.
Yeah.
That's a few years, isn't it?
And they'll be patched up until they can't get patched up anymore, I guess.
Yeah, until they're literally just going to fall apart and then they're scrapped. So. Yeah, the planet, obviously, as we discover in the next movie, is called LV-426, or that's certainly a designation. It doesn't have that designation at this point. Interesting that it's in the Zeta Reticuli system, which is allegedly the homeworld of the Greys, if you believe in modern UFOlogy lore. Interesting that they got if they put that in as a specific thing, 79, you would have had the Betty and Barney Hill abduction would have happened by then. Would have been sort of creeping its way into popular consciousness.
Was it known that the Greys allegedly came from Zeta Reticuli at that point?
It's an interesting one, or was it just chosen as being a star
Kind of a
system?
coincidence, isn't it?
It is.
Either they copied the supposed ufologists who got abducted and whatnot by these Greys, or
Vice versa.
which came first. Interesting to know, but we don't.
Ripley quickly realises the signal was not a distress signal at all, but a warning, even as the Nostromo lands on the stormy planet.
Well, she finds out when they're actually, because they leave the ship, they investigate. It's not until they're actually inside an alien ship that she finds out that it's not an SOS, it's a fucking warning.
Yeah. Stay away. I love the artwork inside the alien ship. It's that's Geiger at his best, isn't it? I mean, you got like a 20-foot tall fossilised skeleton with its chest burst open. So some alien race has found these things and decided to do what humanity wants to do: take them back to study them, maybe use them for nefarious purposes.
Yep.
And it hasn't worked. As it never works in any of the damn movies that we see. It never works. You can't tame these damn things. And so
they're called the space jockeys, aren't they? They were originally.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you know what we know now about the prequels and things, they're called the engineers.
They're called the engineers.
Yeah. So Kane, executive officer, so I guess he's number 2, if he's the executive officer, discovers this egg chamber. And I think the first lesson in sci-fi is don't put your face next to anything that you don't know what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, he's literally like, hey, got this, I think it's an egg, it's organic, and something moving in here.
Like this blue mist, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like a protective layer. So, because the space jockey was fossilised, so it must have been there for thousands, if not millions of years.
Yeah.
So they've been kept in this protective atmosphere all that long. Yeah.
So that's interesting for the second film. It's not the aliens' homeworld, is it?
No.
Right.
They were just put there.
They crashed there,
haven't they?
Yeah. Obviously, Kane is attacked by a facehugger, one of the little small spider-like aliens. It cracks his way through his visor. It keeps him alive through, because I mean that atmosphere that they're in on this planet is unbreathable, but that thing keeps him alive.
Yeah, feeds him oxygen whilst putting him into a coma.
Which is pretty impressive. Ripley doesn't want to let them back in, citing quarantine rules, and Ripley's absolutely fucking right.
Yeah.
In all fairness, don't let them in.
Why do they always go against quarantine rules?
Yeah. They do it in Covenant as well, don't they? They're like, oh, don't let him in. Oh, no, we've let him in.
Yeah, but there's a reason why he's let in, isn't there? We find out later in the film.
Yes, I know, yeah.
It wasn't an accident.
Yeah, Ash, who's the science officer, basically goes against Ripley's orders. Even though Dallas is on the away team, which I think is a strange thing to do as you're the captain.
Yeah, I don't think you'd send your captain on the away team, would you?
Not unless you're Kirk.
But maybe he leads from the front, leads by example. That's his style.
Maybe. So Kanan's got this facehugger stuck to his face. It's got the thing down his throat. They're scanning him. They're trying to get it off. Every time they try and move the leg, the tail of it tightens around his throat, threatening to kill him, which, of course, they're not going to do. And they go to cut one of the legs off, and concentrated acid squirts out. I mean, that's a pretty fucking epic defence mechanism.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
I love that scene, I do.
Yeah, it is good. When it's stripping...
Starts dripping through.
Melting through the deck.
Floors, yeah.
And it could have gone through the hull, I mean...
Yeah.
Then again, I mean, we don't know how thick the hull is on a Nostromo-class spaceship. I'd imagine they're pretty hefty hulls. But it doesn't go all the way through, it's sort of...
Yeah, but this thing's like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
If it was reality and it was me, I'd have been like... I'd have kicked the body and him straight back out at this point.
Well, I would have done what Parker says. Freeze them, why don't they freeze them?
Yeah, Parker
He's
did
got a
say
thing
that,
on, he's got a
didn't he?
fucking
He's
alien
like-
on his face, freeze him together and then deal with it when you can get him somewhere safe on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he's playing into their devious plan.
Yeah, but you don't know that at this point. You just, you know,
Yeah.
they don't realise they're in shit street until they try and cut one of them fingers off, do they?
Yeah.
That's when the acid got.
Personally, I'd have had him straight back out the airlock.
See? Straight back out there, like, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if Claire, it was Claire, you just live to die with you outside.
I know that Claire would
Sorry,
want that.
Ben. Yeah, tripped me straight back out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very noble.
With the alien stuck to my face.
Yeah.
Get it going.
Same as me. Like, just fucking throw me out. You don't
I
know.
would have took off before you got back.
It's like, oh,
What stuck to your face? Fuck off!
Get the fuck out of
no,
here!
he'd have just got rid of us. You guys go on the away mission, I'll stay here and guard the ship. And then he just took off and fucking left us there.
I would have seen what you found first, but as soon as it come back that you've been attacked by a fucking alien, it's like, bye bye.
The best of it is, though, is they literally, he awakens up and the facehuggers off his face. Well, he's not awake as he's laid there. The face off his face. And they just, like, have a stroll in the med bay. Just have a bit of a look around, leave the door open. You're like, what are you doing?
Protocol's gone out the window. They're shitting themselves. That's all you can think, isn't it? Everybody's shitting themselves, so they're not thinking straight.
I know, but fuck me. I mean, this thing's got acid for blood. It's attached. It's kept this guy in a coma for at least a few hours. I mean, we're presuming this takes the course of a day-ish.
Yeah.
No more than 36 hours, is it? And sorry, it's just, you got to put your head on at this point, haven't you? You got to put your officer head on.
Mm.
Well, the facehugger is dead. You get a first little fright there because it falls onto Ripley, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The little body. And what did you say, Claire? For the effects in that, they got like loads of seafood and stuff.
Yeah, they've got loads of seafood and oysters, and like when he's picking at it with a scalpel and that. Yeah, that's what they made it out of.
Ah, you see, it's put me off seafood for life now. Not that I ate it before. Nah, it's not for me. So he literally wakes up and he appears to have recovered. He's fine. He's oh, come on, I could do something to eat. Yeah, we'll have one last meal before we go back into hypersleep. We've done our job. We've found this thing. We've checked it out. All good.
It's all good.
It's all Well, he seems all right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I know, but what were they going to do? Just send a message back saying,
It's all good.
it's all good.
Don't go there.
If they hadn't had the meal, they may have all lived.
I guess so.
Straight into hyperspace. Hypersleep, should I say.
Does that freeze him?
Must do, because Ripley's the same age.
Oh, of course, 57
Yeah.
years, yeah, so it's got to be some kind of stasis thing, so yeah. Oh, and of course in the second one, Burke wants to get Ripley and Newt infected and then get them into stasis, and so I guess it does, it's like a stasis thing. He starts like choking, Kane does, coughing, choking, he's in agony, he's writhing on the table, they get him on his back. Ash, who's the science officer, who's only brought in 2 days before the trip, he's just like, not really doing very much as a science officer in this scenario, I thought.
No, he just stands
Just standing there on a look. Just look at that. It's interesting. So I suppose that means the company is aware of these things.
Yeah.
And if you think about it in a darker way, it's probably not the first crew they've sent out there.
That's possible, isn't it? What do we know from the prequels? I can't remember, but
Well,
the Covenant didn't cover them, didn't they? Is that a company ship?
It's a colonist ship, isn't it?
That's a colonist ship. Prometheus is a Wayland company ship.
So they do know about them then, yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine. So let's assume that because prequels sometimes there's not continuality. Let's just take it from this film's point of view.
Is it said what year it's set in as well?
Oh yeah, I can give you a quick timeline of the films. Actually, so Prometheus is set in 2093, not that far in the future if you think about
it's
it.
not, is it?
70 years,
Yeah. Covenant is set in 2104. This movie, Alien, is set in 2122. Aliens and Alien 3 are both set in 2179. And Resurrection is set in 2381. The less we talk about Resurrection, the better.
Oh, it's not the worst one.
No, the third one's the worst, actually, to be fair. I don't like Alien 3.
No.
I think with Ash, if you're in a 70s, 80s sci-fi movie, don't trust the British guy. British guys at this point were always bad guys in movies because obviously our accent makes us sound more refined.
Well, that might work, but Kane was English as well.
True. He didn't have the very sort of received pronunciation accent in a way. Yeah, so then we get the chest burst, which apparently freaked the fuck out of the actors as well, because I don't think they were told.
Know.
Yeah, they weren't told about
They knew
it.
something was going to happen, but they didn't know how they were going to do it.
Yeah, and how much blood was going to
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah, because they do get fairly splattered, don't they?
And so that, what we see is the first reaction. They kept it.
I like stuff like that in
Yeah.
direction of movies where they don't tell them what's going to happen and let them react naturally.
Yeah.
I think that's great. And as you said as well, they kept them like locked up on the set effectively, didn't they? So they're literally living in each other's pockets constantly. And so you can see that there's tension in the cast.
Yeah.
It's not just the characters, it's like, I'm sick of the fucking sight of you.
Yeah. Day after day, like probably 12 hours a day.
Yeah, and like that's what they did in Saving Private Ryan. They put everyone through really harsh military training apart from Matt Damon, so they could build up this resentment towards him. Then we get the chest burster.
Famous scene.
Famous scene. I think the baby alien looks kind of cute.
It is, isn't it?
You know, and he just sort of squeals off when it bursts out. That's your time then, isn't it?
It looks like a little pull-back car.
It does, doesn't it? It probably is. It's probably because it looks like a dildo with teeth
And a little tail.
and a little tail, and it just sort of screeches off like a little pull back and go car.
There is a parody where it's got a top hat and cane. We think it's French and Saunders, but it might not be. We're not sure.
Yeah,
You'd have had to grab it, wouldn't you? Someone should have grabbed it.
you twatted it.
What's the worst that could have happened? It bit you with them little teeth.
It's barely enough to take a finger off when it's that big. It'll be
know,
fine.
Snapped its neck straight off.
Yeah, whereas was Jonesy during all of this, he'd have had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ship's cat Jonesy, by the way, little ginger Tom, I'm assuming.
Now this chest burster scene at the time, people in cinemas were screaming and leaving and fainting and everything.
Was it?
Yeah,
Cool.
I know. Well, think about it. There was nothing like this at the time.
And
No.
it was on that huge screen.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose there was Jaws and that, but
Dead eyes, like a doll's eyes.
it was quite visceral, wasn't it, coming through his chest? And
What if they were all turning up to watch something like Star Wars? They were going to
yeah, I know. So funny.
I guess that's the thing. I mean, what was the sort of review system like in 1979? Was it in the paper? Was it, did you just look at the list and go, oh, film called Alien, I'll go and watch that, must be like Star Wars?
You get reviews in papers, don't you?
Yeah, I can't remember now. It's been that bloody long since I read a paper.
Your mum's like, oh, you're going to watch that new Star Wars?
I think it was an 18 though, wasn't it?
Oh, it was rated R, yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
guess it was an 18. The rest of it is, though, they sort of wrap Kane up and flush him out into space, but they keep the facehugger body.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even after this little thing's running around the fucking ship,
Yeah.
so they've all got time to have a little burial. Has anyone got anything to say? And everyone just doesn't say a word.
No.
Oh wow, this is fucking dignified.
They would have kept the body for an autopsy.
We think so.
Find out how it was.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious how he died.
No, I was going to say how the thing was keeping him alive and things like that. There'll be traces of that and
Yeah, maybe.
what the actual facehugger did and all this kind of shit needs to be known. But Ash
They
doesn't
flushed
fight
it
it.
out.
Yeah, just flushes it out.
I mean, leaving in Starship Troopers, they all put the uniform on before they flushed her out, flushed Dizzy out into space. It's terrible. I love the plan though. Right, we got some little shock sticks and a net. Let's go look for it. And you're like, that's not. Knowing what we know, I guess, we're like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, but at the time it's only tiny.
Yeah, they don't know it's gonna get that big, I guess.
No.
6 foot fucking 10.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jonesy, I think, is working with the alien because every time he's there, he's used as this device, isn't he? They're like, oh, distracted by the cat.
Yeah.
Brett's there, like, come on, Jonesy, come on, let's get the cat. 'Cause they nearly shock him, thinking it's the alien. They're like, oh, it'll be fine. No, because we might pick him up again with a motion sensor. You gotta go and grab him. Oh shit. And Jonesy just distracted Brett long enough for him to get killed by the alien. He's taking the bodies as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So it's giving it long enough. It's either taking them off to feed or it's taking them and webbed them up somewhere.
Cocooned.
Cocooned.
Like the others.
Cocoon like the others. They ain't dead, man. I can't resist slipping into aliens.
Yeah.
You get the first glimpse of the adult xenomorph here as it kills Brett. And in all fairness, you don't see a lot of the alien in this movie. It's really left to suspense.
Yeah.
And
So many close-ups, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just coming up the arm, up the body, along the side, the side of the face.
usually it's that shot from the centre of the face and it bares its teeth in just as it's about to shoot the inner mouth out.
Yeah.
Is usually the...
Yeah.
At this stage, though, personally, I'm out the fucking door. I'm on the ship. I'm on the escape shuttle. I don't care. That thing is fucking huge.
Surely there's more than one escape
You'd
shuttle.
leave your fucking comrades to die.
They're all dead, man.
What kind of a fucking
Surely
man are
there's
you?
more than one.
One who's got
Fucking
self-preservation.
Rimmer.
Oh, you telling me you wouldn't? You're gonna hang around and fight that? If I had an M418 pulse rifle, Mike, then yes, I'm staying. I haven't. I've got a shock stick and a rudimentary flamethrower that I don't know if either of them are gonna work. Pick your battles. Pick your hill to die on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I can't leave me fucking friends to die.
No, Mike, they're not friends. They're just crewmen you happen to be stuck with on this 40-month shit of a journey.
Oh yeah, you got boy fucking.
What about the time we were talking about an abduction out the field and I said I'd get out the car and you said you'd be reversing it? I mean, you just said nothing at that point.
Yeah.
At this point, you said an alien and you're like, yeah, Papa couldn't go.
No, because you've chosen to leave the safety of the vehicle. That's your choice. Once you're out, that's it. It's your responsibility.
Get out.
I've got responsibility for the people in the car. I've got to get away.
Alright, Captain Mike.
I would have given you plenty of warning. I wouldn't just drove off. And then you get out of the car, you're on your own.
Right, back to aliens. So, you're going in gung-ho, not leaving...
I think it's... I mean, also, you know, the escape shuttle can fit like 3 people in it, which I think is a bit of a design flaw for a crew of 7.
Yeah.
Suggest 4 of you have got to die before you consider it bad enough to get out of there.
Yeah.
But look at the size of the Nostromo. Surely there's more than one.
They refer to it as the shuttle.
Yeah.
It's the
Well,
shuttle.
that just shows you how little disregard for the safety of the crew of the company.
Yeah, because you've got to lose 55% of the crew before you can escape. That's what it's considered bad enough to get out of there.
Nothing's changed, has it?
No. And the Captain Dallas goes to Mother, the computer, and I love the computer actually. It's all half analog, half digital. It whirs, it makes sounds, ticking noise. It almost sounds like it's breathing, doesn't it? Mm. And he's asks for permission to terminate the alien, which is weird because you think, well, that's what we've got to do, isn't it? Well, otherwise we're all dead. All he gets back, he's like, does not compute. He's asking it the wrong question, basically, isn't he? Now, the plan is, using the rudimentary flamethrowers, is to flush the alien towards the airlock via the ducts in the ship which it's using to get around. I like this scene. It's like, because it's on the tracker, then it's not on the tracker, and the next thing you know, it's literally just behind him, and he's got...
They say it works by micro changes in air density.
Yes.
I don't know how scientific that is, if that works or not.
I have no
Sounds
idea.
interesting though.
It does. But he's just taken, isn't he? They just find that the flamethrower left there, and that's it, he's gone. So it's taken him away to feed, or it's taken him to web up somewhere. Ripley, at this point, because both Dallas and Kane are dead, is now in charge.
Yeah.
And she goes to ask Mother what to do and ask the right questions, and we get Special Order 937 for Science Officers' Eyes Only, i.e. Ash. And these are: investigate life form, gather specimen. Priority 1, ensure return of organism for analysis, all other considerations secondary, crew expendable. And then Ash just appears beside her in a creepy way.
With that sort of smile grin on his face.
Yeah.
We find out after a little scuffle, Ripley pushes him against the wall because he won't let her leave because she's seen that. She now knows that she's expendable along with the rest of them. We see the white fluid. I mean, I suppose really, because I watched these out of sequence. I watched Aliens, or I watched Alien when I first watched these. I was like, oh shit, he's an android then. I only said Sin Bishop from the second one.
Yeah. I watched Alien first. I was about 9, I think, at Centre Parks. Parents had gone to bed. We had the sofa bed, me and my sister. Put the TV on late at night. Watched Alien. I was like 9, she was like 7.
I'm sure that never scarred either of you in any way.
We used to love horror films. We used to watch all the Nightmare on Elm Street and everything, and yeah, didn't bother me. I'm fine.
Yeah, you're the paragon of mental health. You are. Ash tries to kill Ripley by stuffing a magazine down her throat.
It's an
interesting way,
isn't it? Yeah. Thought he could have gone for like choking her, couldn't he? With
Yeah, because I mean,
his hand round his.
And then at this point, is he a malfunctioning android that
Yeah, he's just.
there's an error or something, and he's fucking up? But I don't know.
as Bishop says, that model was a little bit twitchy.
Yep.
Parker, to be fair, I think he does a great job here. He bashes Ash's head off with a fire extinguisher. I think that's
After he
ace.
squeezed his tit.
After he squeezes his tit.
And rolled around the walls like.
It's great. He just bashes his head off though. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And they basically find out the company wants the aliens as a weapon.
Yeah.
And
At this point, should we talk about the alien? We forgot.
we should talk about the alien a little bit. The xenomorph. This is Ash, a quote from him. He says, "You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? It's the perfect organism. Its structural perfection is matched only by its hostility." So basically, it's angry.
Yeah.
Xenomorph is actually a Greek word. Xenos, strange, and morph form, so strange form.
Ooh.
It's interesting because it takes on some characteristics of its host.
Yes, it absorbs the DNA of the host. So when in Alien 3 it gets in the dog,
Yeah.
you get this quadruped xenomorph. But the human ones, it takes on the bipedal, predominantly bipedal. It does go on all fours.
AVP, it gets dreadlocks.
The predmorph.
Yeah. Pred alien.
Predalien, that's it. Just to finish Ash's quote, "I admire its purity. It's a survivor unclouded by conscious remorse or delusions of morality."
It's a killer, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's nature, isn't it?
it's survival. It's a survivor. Depending on the host in which the embryo is implanted, if it's the human phenotype, it's generally around 7 to 9 feet tall, and roughly 181 to 272 kilograms, which is 400 to 600 fucking pounds.
Wow.
In weight, with a long muscular tail and large curved oblong head. Now the queen, which we don't see in this movie, they can get up to 30 feet tall, and they're clever and stronger and smarter and faster.
Yeah.
They get the acid blood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's facehuggers start the life cycle, implants the embryo.
Yeah.
It is the ultimate. I mean, for God's sake, these
Imagine
things.
having that as a biological weapon.
Well, you drop that down, drop an egg down onto a planet you don't like anymore.
Yeah.
Now, in the extended universe, the books, the aliens make it to Earth.
Earthhive.
Earthhive,
yeah.
And there's another one called Nightmare Asylum where this rogue US Marine colonel captures them and tries to basically train the queen using fire to the point where he can stand in the egg chamber with a lighter.
What?
And the queen won't touch him because he knows even if he dies, the eggs will be burned. Her mission is to look after the eggs. But he tries to basically he thinks the only way to take Earth back from the aliens is to use aliens as soldiers. So he's got like these aliens with like little visors at the end. Like, okay, Fire Team 2, you spread out to the left. He's trying to consult. He's got the Queen there as well, and he's telling the Queen to tell him to do things. In the end, the Queen just sort of fucking stabs him and fucks off. I'm taking orders from you when there's no eggs around. Okay, yeah, so though numerous varieties exist, adult xenomorphs all tend to share the same common traits: a vertebrae-like body, a protective dark exoskeleton, a long flexible tail, an elongated domed head, and a toothed mouth hiding a secondary extendable proboscis-like inner maw.
Proboscis, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Little is known about their biology, but it is known that they eat with their inner or secondary mouths and not their outer jaws. This mouth is somewhat similar to the jaw of a moray eel. They also bleed an unknown and extremely corrosive fluid. This substance is dull yellow in colour and often referred to as blood, although whether it's actually used in that, no one seems to know. Or it could be just a defence mechanism.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
And they operate in hives made of a resin they produce. We see that in this movie. Dallas puts his hand in some by accident. There's most commonly observed castes are drones, warriors, praetorians, and queens. A queen can become a drone or a warrior can turn into a queen given enough time if there's no other queen around. So one alien can potentially turn into a queen, start laying eggs, and then you're in a whole world of shit.
It possesses an intelligence level equivalent to that of a typical primate.
Primate.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. It's pretty clever. Anyway, they're the fucking perfect killing machine.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Like you say, if I've got a pulse rifle, then I'm laughing. I've got a shitty flamethrower and a shock stick. I am out of here in this movie. I am gone. See you later.
Well, they're scared of fire, though, aren't they?
Well, I guess so. I mean, all animals are scared of
Yeah.
fire, and humans for that matter. What they decide, the surviving crew, Lambert, Ripley and Parker, is we're going to blow this ship up, get to the shuttle, we're going to activate the self-destruct mechanism, we're going to get to the shuttle, we're going to get the fuck out of here.
Which they can do now, there's 3 members.
Yep. So she sends Parker and Lambert off to collect coolant for the oxygen system in the shuttle, presumably because they're just going to need... It's hit and miss whether they're going to get found, isn't it? They're like sort of halfway between Earth. They're hoping that the network will pick them up. There's got to be space traffic, I'm sure. There's a beacon on that ship. You know?
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Now, Ripley wants to get to the shuttle, start prepping it for launch with the aliens between her and the shuttle, so she has to run back. There's 10 minutes to get out. She hears Parker and Lambert get killed. I'm like, I think Parker puts up a great fight. He's trying to stab the fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Doesn't stand a chance.
Doesn't stand a chance. Too strong. I mean, for fuck's sake, it's at least 181 kilograms.
The woman's just froze, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She's
useless at that point. She's just going to die.
And she sort of gets sexually harassed before she gets killed.
What is it with you and the sexual implications of the alien, Mike?
Well,
it was there.
yeah, it lifts its tail up between her legs and it's a bit creepy.
Yeah.
Well, the whole film's a film about male rape and the horror of it. You know, something injecting eggs into you and bursting out of you. That's what the whole film's about.
So what you're saying is this whole film is, the metaphor behind this whole film is male rape.
Well, you've got other things, you know, man versus beast,
Yeah.
horrors of the unknown, things like that. Yeah, different, you know, but yeah, that's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Ripley goes back to try and cancel the damn thing because she realises that she can't get out to the shuttle, but obviously after hearing them die, realises the path is now open. She can't reverse it anyway, she doesn't do it in time. She's got 5 minutes, she doesn't make it. She gets into the shuttle.
Grabs Jonesy on the way.
Grabs
Poor
Jonesy.
Jonesy, being flung about. I mean, I know he wasn't in there at the time, obviously, but it's assumed that he is.
Yeah, and I've never known a cat go into a box so easily. A carry case, you know.
Yeah, never that easy.
And she basically gets the fuck out of there. And the Nostromo is destroyed behind her. But did she get the alien? Turns out she didn't.
Nope.
It managed to sneak in. And I don't know if it's hiding or it knows what she's doing.
I think it's sleeping off its meals. isn't it?
Sleeping off its meal, just having it, because it's tucked in between the pipes.
It does
I
eat
think
them.
it's hiding.
But is it hiding?
It knows she's there because she sees it and it sees her.
Yeah, but it's like almost like it's between those pipes. And is it waiting for the... Does it know what she's doing, is my thing.
Not if it's got the intelligence of a primate.
No, but I mean, by her body language, by the pheromones of fear that she's giving off.
But then she goes in the spacesuit.
That's true, so I think he probably just is having a kip.
It's got. Do you think it's actually smart enough to have known that she was going to get? Well, it is because it's on there, isn't it? Isn't it? It's on the ship. It's smart enough to know I've got to get on this ship and get off.
That's where my last prey's gone. There's a hunter, it's using its hunting instinct, so it's like, that's where my last prey's gone. And is it a case of I'm going to hide and wait for her when she's at her most vulnerable? Because I know that these things have got stuff that they can try and hurt me with. Or is it a case of I'm sleeping off my meal, fuck it, I've eaten 4 dudes.
I was going in.
Yeah,
And it just
could
happens
be.
to be the pod.
I mean, she's wearing some very revealing space pants. There's not much to them, and you know, I have a bit of a crush on 1979 to 1980s Sigourney Weaver. I think, am I alone in that, Mike?
She's okay.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, nothing
She looks
special.
quite hot.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. Claire's with me. So she's basically kind of really stealthily, she's hiding in a closet almost, and she stealthily kind of gets into the spacesuit, manages to get to the chair, kind of really sort of notices her then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe because it has an idea that this is like the last gamble, this is the threat.
And she starts letting off sort of steam in the pipes.
Yes.
She's twiddling with knobs, isn't she? And things are
Flush it out, yeah.
flushing it out.
Because obviously super hot, if that is like super hot steam or some kind of coolant at the other end of the scale, it's either going to be really hot or really fucking cold. It's going to hurt it.
It's going to be uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
And the way she's positioned, which the chair is literally opposite the airlock, so as it comes to get to stand in front of her, boom, airlock button. It goes out.
Well, it doesn't go.
It doesn't. It's holding the doors.
Yeah.
She finds like a little harpoon thing, little harpoon gun, which must have enough force just to knock it back, break its grip, and then she, as it goes out the door, turns the engines on, blasts that son of a bitch.
Bits go everywhere and it's flying off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We assume it's incinerated or... Yeah.
But then again, they can survive for limited times in the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
Not that long.
The alien, I don't know how long if the alien queen did survive, but it's thought that aliens can survive in the vacuum because she kind of goes into the fetal position, doesn't she, when she gets blasted out in the second film?
No, I haven't noticed.
Which might be sort of curling up to keep the body heat in.
It ain't
keep
gonna be
the
for
core.
long. It ain't gonna be for long.
Matter of minutes, maybe 30, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, it has got, what did Ash describe it as? It replaces its cells with polarised silicon.
Yeah, so it can survive all sorts of...
It makes it a tough son of a bit, so yeah, it's possible for a bit, but not for that long.
No.
Yeah.
I think in the extended universe they said 30 minutes.
That's probably about right, yeah.
So that's still a danger if you're on the outside of the ship and you've blasted one out and you have to go out and look for it. The chances are it's still going to be floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
Ripley sort of just makes her final report. She says that everyone's dead. She's the sole survivor of the Nostromo. Well, not the only survivor because Jones is still there.
Everyone's dead, Dave.
Everyone's dead, Dave. Dave, everyone's dead. Everyone's dead, Dave. And she enters hypersleep.
Yeah.
Spent the next 57 years.
Sweet dreams.
In hope that he picks up.
I wonder if you dream in hyperstasis because it was...
They do. Don't they?
I don't know.
If they do, she's having some pretty bad nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to
57 years worth.
57 years worth of nightmares. The cool thing is at the very start of Aliens, when the salvage team finds her, the harpoon gun is exactly in the same position by the door.
Ah.
It's a little continuality thing. It was there, propped up on the floor by the door as they come into the airlock.
What does everyone think?
I love this movie.
Yeah, it's great. Isn't it?
It's not my favourite. It's my second favourite out of the saga. Aliens is more my thing because it's a bit more actiony, and the Macquarie Marines are cool as fuck.
Yeah.
So it's I like that movie. But this one, I think if I'm being critical, I think that the alien looks dated now.
A little bit.
I can tell it's a man in a suit.
What? And all the switches and knobs and the
Yeah,
fact that Mother doesn't actually talk. Like the other films and...
But I can forgive that in a way because that's when they made the
how
film.
old it is,
That was what they were envisioning the future was, and they were using their own okay, we've got these tape things. 'Cause Mother sounds like she's ran on tapes as well as a bit of digital.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, let's just put loads of lights around her, and you got to go into that little room. It's almost like when Professor X goes to start tracking down mutants in it. Cerebro. No, I like it. I really do like this movie. I think it's a classic, and I think I'm gonna be slightly controversial. This is how you write a strong female character in a movie. There's a lot of stuff in films now where they really push they put them as females as heroes. Like the Avengers Endgame is my best example. They do this line shot of all the female heroes in the middle of a fucking battle, but they all somehow manage to get together and it lines them up, and it's like
Cringe.
It is, it's cringe. It's like you're pushing that agenda on me. You're pushing this woke agenda on me. But this is how you write a strong female character.
You write it as a man?
No, because...
Originally it was.
No, they're all unisex, weren't they? But they did envision Ripley as a woman. But Sigourney Weaver plays it well. She plays it as a strong woman.
Yeah, it's great. Great performance. But it wasn't originally meant to be for a woman.
No, but there's always improv and things get rewritten, isn't it? And
I can't imagine a dude doing it now.
Nah, it would be mad. Can imagine if they did remake Alien and put Ripley as a man. Oh, imagine the outcry.
Uproar.
You know, imagine they'd have to put all the crew as women. It'd be like the Ghostbusters reboot.
Oh.
They wouldn't be able to make a film like this nowadays because there's like 20 minutes where nothing happens. It's just sort of like getting a feel for the world, and I love it.
I like that in a movie because it draws me into the world.
Yeah.
I like their sort of the soundtrack as well. It's
the score's good, yeah.
Yeah.
The creepy music.
Yeah, the creepy music. It that draws you in as well, doesn't it? And there's quite a a lot of use of heartbeat. Did you hear that throughout the film?
Yes. And there's always like that, you hear that, I can't do the noise, but it's like almost like a clicking noise the alien makes.
Right.
And you hear that, and that sort of coincides with the heartbeat. That, as soon as she hears that, her heartbeat rises then, and you're like, can the alien hear that?
No, I just think it's trying to put you in the film. I think it's portraying the person, because there's a lot of first-person camera work, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, there is.
They're running through, so that's when the heartbeat sort of kicks in, and it's sort of putting you in their shoes, isn't it?
And with a budget of only $11 million, this film was made pretty cheap. To be fair, I mean, $11 million in 1979, alright, that's still probably a fair chunk of change today. But when you think that Star Wars had a budget of, what, 70 million? Something like that?
The original?
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, I think it had quite a decent budget. It had more than 11 anyway.
Yeah.
And there's only one scene in this where I actually noticed it, like, because they used a lot of pictures, didn't they? And paintings as the sort of scenes.
Sometimes,
and there's only one that I sort of noticed.
Yeah.
The other ones are that sort of seamless.
It's really well directed, the characters are great. I love it.
Yeah. Should Ridley Scott had only directed commercials on British TV?
Really?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Well, and then he went on to do some great films.
Yeah.
Was he on Aliens as well? James Cameron directed, but I don't know if Ridley Scott was producer.
No.
Obviously he went to do Gladiator, that was pretty decent. Completely different though, obviously, but
Yeah.
Did he do Kingdom of Heaven as well, or whatever it was called?
Don't talk to me about Kingdom of Heaven.
That was shit, mate.
Don't talk to me about Orlando Bloom. I will never review a movie with Orlando Bloom in it, let's just get that out of the way. You're making your own notes for that one, guys.
I don't know, Lord of the Rings would be a good one.
I can't watch him. I can go through Lord of the Rings, right? I can.
He does a good elf, I suppose.
Yeah, because he does very little.
Yeah, he's only in and out of it, isn't he?
Yeah, he just stands there and he shoots a bow, and he kills. That is about it. Even the back and forth of the dwarf seems forced. Can't act. All right, let's give you some facts about the movie. Oh, the ship's name, Nostromo, comes from a 1904 novel by Joseph Conrad, which follows an Italian explorer to South America to plunder a silver mine. And of course, the shuttle is called the Narcissus, and that is another Conrad novel. Cast members regularly passing out on set. Spacesuits, even fake ones, tend to get hot, especially when they don't let any air out. Add in set lighting and a summertime production schedule, and you have some sweltering conditions. Veronica Cartwright, who played Lambert, revealed in The Beast Within, must be a book that she wrote about that the actors are fainting so regularly that a nurse was kept on standby with oxygen tanks.
Fucking hell. Didn't know that.
The costumes were actually updated until kids got involved. For a few perspective shots, Scott put his two sons in spacesuits and they also passed out, which led to them modifying the costumes.
Alright, now we'll put a fan in them. For fuck's sake.
The egg required hydraulics, hand shadows and cow tripe. Oof.
It's good though, isn't it? The way they did
It is.
Yeah.
It was actually just Ridley Scott flicking his gloved hands under the moving light. And the egg also came outfitted with steel hydraulics along the top. And when it's opened up, those are cow intestines. Lovely. Roger Daltrey helped with the lighting from the hood. When the Nostromo crew disturbs the facehuggers, there's a beam of blue light which indicates early trouble. And you have the Who to thank for that. Lead singer Roger Daltrey was experimenting with lasers right next to the studio where Alien was shooting, and he graciously lent his equipment out to Scott.
Never. So everyone's trying to explain, that's a special, laser over the top of the eggs and that, and it was just a last minute sort of.
It's like, hey,
just chucked it in.
Roger, can we borrow your lighting? And why is Roger Daltrey experimenting with lasers? Is he a fucking supervillain or something?
Maybe he's for his concepts.
But why him? Why not the tech guys?
Maybe he's into it.
Oh, maybe.
The laser guy.
Just a little bit more on the chest bursting thing. He didn't have any idea what kind of gore was in store for them, and the reaction to the burst is completely original. Only John Hurt knew what was going to happen. According to The Guardian, Yaphet Kotto, who played Parker, shut himself in his room right after the scene and wouldn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, the reaction of Lambert's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Sprays up her face.
The chestburster was inspired by Dan O'Bannon's medical problems. No, he's never birthed an alien. But he suffered from Crohn's disease. I presume if he hasn't passed away, I'm presuming he's still suffering from Crohn's disease. Oh no, I think they can cure it, but you have to have a bag. It's a very unpleasant disease, Crohn's.
Yeah.
He likened his digestion process to something bubbling inside, struggling to get out. The weird goo that seeps out of Ash the android's head when he's decapitated, they made that from a combination of milk, caviar, pasta and glass marbles. It was especially unfortunate for the actor who hated milk.
Shitter.
So we watched the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
There is a director's cut, and it does offer. So this actually, we've been saying about what happened. We never saw them eat. It turns out that they were cocooned. In an extended cut, they've been wrapped in an alien cocoon. Only Dallas can make out the words.
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah.
She torches it.
Yeah, I have seen that version.
But obviously, as everyone involved felt the scene dragged down Ripley's escape, and I suppose she only has got like 5 minutes at this point, and she barely makes it anyway. So
yeah, probably should have been kept in though. It's a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, I mean, it would have set it up nicely for the second one, wouldn't it? But I guess
we find that out in the second one anyway. So.
I guess you do.
Yeah, great film.
Great film. I like it.
It spawned Aliens, which was even better. So
yeah.
Without this one, we wouldn't have had that one.
Yeah, it's a classic, isn't it?
That's true, and I like how they changed up the tempo in a way. They went from this slow burner sci-fi horror / thriller to all out an alien war movie, basically. Alright, let's end the show on some fucked up facts.
Theme tune?
Facts, fucked up facts, facts.
Spam email. Fucking hate that fucking thing. Spam email, guys. Yeah, where do you think spam email got its name from?
The delicious, tasty meat.
Yep. But which
I
cultural
thought
reference?
no one liked it.
I like spam.
I like spam, so right.
Spam fritters are great.
What cultural reference?
Go on then. I don't know what to say.
Monty Python.
Spam a lot.
Spam.
Yeah.
Because shouting spam drowns out all of the conversation.
I must remember that.
What were your fucked up facts? You had a couple.
I had one. I don't remember one at the moment. Did you know that 95% of us pick our nose and 72% of us eat it?
Oh. I'm a roller and flicker.
Well, yeah, that's you. But 72% apparently eat it. Now, there is some thought on this that it's actually good for you.
Right.
Because the mucus in your nose traps viruses, microbes, stuff like that. So by eating it, you're actually exposing your body to it, a very small amount of it, and building up your immune system.
Oh, right, okay.
And then some people say that's utterly bollocks and it's disgusting. The interesting thing is, it's technically micro-cannibalism. You're eating part of yourself.
Yeah.
Like nail biters.
Yeah, I'm a nail biter.
Yeah, me too.
Nibble and eat it. And the skin biters around the thumb.
My cat eats my toenails.
Oh, for God's sake, that is grim.
You know, you're trimming your toenails and they flick over the room.
Yeah.
He'll chase them down and eat them, and you can hear him crunching them.
Well, that's the most fucked up fact I've heard today so far. Yeah, alright, and yeah, that was my fucked up fact I'm bringing to the table. If you eat your snot, you are in fact a cannibal.
Speaking of eating, termites eat wood faster when listening to heavy metal.
Who doesn't do everything fast to listen to heavy metal?
Chop, 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 chop.
You know, you drive faster. I'd imagine if you listen to speed metal, you're probably going to drive a lot faster. Interesting about animals. So when you played it by that comparison, if you played like Beethoven's Fourth, they'd eat in quite an elaborate way.
In patterns.
In patterns, yeah.
I've fallen for this next fact.
Go on.
For several months in 1967, American underground press actively spread a belief that it was possible to get high by smoking banana peel.
Oh.
Oh man.
But I heard it was the inside of the banana peel.
The white stuff.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I remember you doing that.
Yeah.
Didn't work, did it?
No.
Didn't someone we know smoke coffee?
Yeah. That was after the banana didn't work. You tried coffee.
Yeah, that's really unlikely to work. In fact, it probably gave him heart problems.
Probably gave him a massive caffeine hit.
Maybe.
There was a museum in Australia entirely dedicated to animal droppings.
Who the fuck's going there?
Fossilised animal droppings and all sorts, wasn't it?
Some kangaroo shit. Here's some koala bear shit.
Does anyone know what it's called?
The museum of shit.
No. It's one word.
Oh.
Shittium.
Play on the word museum.
Shittium.
No. Close.
Feces-ium.
No. Close. Pooseum.
I thought being Australian it might have gone a bit more extreme, but
Yeah,
Pooseum.
I was thinking too good to be poo.
Oh, brilliant. I bet it's some dodgy little shack on some lonely road in the outback. Probably gets about 12 visitors a year, run by some eccentric old man.
You don't fancy going to the Pooseum then?
Not really, no.
In 1960, the RAF parachuted cats into Borneo to deal with a rat army.
Did the cats have a choice? Were they conscripted? Did they take the king's shilling? Queen's shilling at the time, sorry? I mean, did they have little uniforms on? I need to know more now.
He took the king's kipper.
The Queen's... I mean, it was Queen's kip at the time, probably.
Yeah.
Would have been the 60s, the Borneo conflict. So, yeah. Wow, the Queen's kipper. I hope there's like a Sergeant Paws, Captain Whiskers. Ah. Look adorable in their little uniforms too, wouldn't they?
They were going to commit rat genocide.
Yeah, but it could have given the soldiers the plague.
Yeah.
You know, they're in the jungle, living in really unsanitary conditions. But, you know, I'm okay with
But they're not cute though, are they? Because they're going to be tearing up fucking rats.
Well, they would have been cute when they came for a fuss after.
With a pile of rats.
Yeah.
Look what I caught you.
Exactly.
In 2008 study, researchers at Bath Spa University asked volunteers to rank the intelligence of people with various accents. Okay.
Alright.
Who do you think was rated the highest and who do you think was rated the lowest?
I'm going to guess Brummie's the lowest.
Correct.
Really? I was going to go Scousers.
People really don't like the Brummie accent.
The Brummie accent was rated lower than staying silent.
I wonder if that's changed now Peaky Blinders has become a world hit.
Maybe.
The highest either received pronunciation, the BBC accent.
No.
London?
North. Up north.
Scotland?
No.
Newcastle?
South.
Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Yorkshire?
Breeding whippets.
Bloody Yorkshire? Most intelligent?
Apparently.
Really?
I know, yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
No.
So I knew Brummie would be bottom because everybody hates the Brummie accent. Or they did. It probably explains a lot why we're not famous now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because to people outside our area, we've got Brummie accents.
Yeah.
I found that out when I went to Liverpool.
I found that out at many a festival. Where are you from? Birmingham? Fucking no.
This is interesting. Raindrops are about the same size on all planets, regardless of if they're made of water, methane or liquid iron.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is a planet called WASP 76b that does rain liquid iron.
So some sort of hat would be in order.
Yeah, titanium hat.
That's weird though.
I find it really hard to imagine some of these, like, you know, when you say it's raining iron. I don't know, it's really hard to...
It's that hot.
It's just raining iron
Yeah.
and it's re-dissolving and then going up
Yeah.
into some more iron clouds.
Yeah.
And then you got like, doesn't it Venus, it rain methane? Liquid methane?
Sulfuric acid.
Oh, fuck, makes it even worse.
Yeah.
You're getting dripped alien blood on you all the time.
It's hard to imagine, isn't it?
But then there's planets out there that are like either covered in ice or they're... So one planet they found, they reckon, is just sprouting diamonds everywhere. It's worth... They reckon it'll be worth hundreds of trillions if they can ever get up there to get it. That's what we're going to have to do, though,
That's
eventually.
how the Wayland Corporation's going to be formed.
In a way, Alien is basically what the future's going to be, because the corporations will take over space travel, because the governments aren't interested, it costs too much money to get it up and going. Tesla, there you go. Elon Musk, you know, he wants to get into space, doesn't he? He wants to go to Mars. Why? So Mars is just a stopping point.
I should imagine he's watched Alien. Though.
I'd have thought so. It's the future he wants, Claire. He's an evil genius. But no, everything will be done by the corporations, and with the mining rights, things like that, because there's going to be so many. There's asteroids which are just made of iron ore. You get a crew on there, you start mining that, you bring it back to Earth, because the Earth's going to run out of resources one day. It's running out as it is. So it's going to run out completely soon. Not soon, but, you know, a few hundred years maybe.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to go into space, start getting the stuff from there.
Yep. Aliens coming true.
Alien future, man.
According to ancient Greek myth, when the goddess Demeter, is that how you pronounce it?
I think so.
Was depressed, an old woman named Bobo cheered her up by flashing her genitals.
Doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me with the Greeks. They would have the ancient Greeks would have sex with anything. Kind of admire it in a way. That's what happens if you're all strutting around in togas constantly.
Yeah.
You're going to get the horn.
The first official vegetarian society in Russia was co-founded in 1901 by a man called Berger.
Ha! Dave Berger.
Possibly. Probably Boris.
Boris Berger. if he'd have gone into a different business, you might have had communism. And McBoris. Just think it could have worked. You get a McDonald's into a country, it's not going to fight you anymore.
No.
In an experiment conducted in Moscow, people had to answer questions about politics and have a drink every 12 minutes. The study ran for 1.5 hours and has shown that the more people drank, the more they began to support the government. That's why alcohol's fucking legal and weed isn't.
Yeah, but with weed, you'd be like, oh, this government sucks. Ah, fuck it, I'll have a joint and sit here. You're not going to get up and start a revolution, are you?
No, but at least you'd be talking about it.
Yeah, true. It was like explain my dad then, because he doesn't drink and he still supports the government. Although he did say, actually, my dad, the arch conservative Tory voter, did say that since they've taken the triple lock pension away this week for the old people, that he thinks Boris has lost the next election.
Still gets his vote though.
Yeah.
He's still going to vote.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, more than likely. I don't think he's ever voted Labour in his life, so probably not.
Even his son as a Labour councillor.
I know. I said, you're going to vote for me one day. He's like, no. I'm not voting for Labour. I was like, fucking cheers.
It's terrible.
Brainwashed.
Absolutely.
One of the US's largest stockpiles of nuclear weapons is guarded by trained military dolphins.
Oh, why the fuck not?
That was my impression.
They're gonna get the revenge on us.
Yeah, what if the dolphins go rogue?
Yeah.
They use dolphins for a lot, though.
They're pretty smart, aren't they?
Yeah, they're as smart as we are. So if they ever do
Not
get...
smart, are they?
They're fairly smart. They're not far off us, intelligence-wise.
So they're underwater then,
Well, it's how we evaluate intelligence.
Well, it's IQ, yeah. Well, if you're talking about IQ, they're not that far off a human.
So we've stashed our nuclear weapons underwater.
I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so. Underwater seems a bit risky, doesn't it? But maybe there's like it's on the coast, and the way the approach to it is guarded by these trained dolphins. Maybe. I don't know. So they're in the sea and they're guarding the sea.
They're in a tank around the nuclear.
If they were in a tank, that'd be fucking sweet.
Beams.
Maybe I tell you what. Maybe there's weapons are underwater in the facility in a tank, and they just got dolphins swimming around them.
With laser beams.
That would make sense. Little laser packs strapped to their backs. You know, the dolphin who played Flipper actually committed suicide.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, he swam into his trainer's arms and closed his blowhole.
I don't know how true that is.
That's what I read somewhere, man.
It is depressing though, isn't it?
Yup.
If it is.
They shouldn't be in captivity at all. Let them go free, man. I like a dolphin.
He just closed his blowhole.
Yeah, committed suicide. Swam into his trainer's arms, closed his blowhole.
Oh.
couldn't take the indignity any longer.
I don't know how true it is. I've read it a couple of times from different sources, so I'll try and see if I can find it out properly, and I'll put it in the next anthology of the Strange. Get the full story.
From 1986 to 2007, all cosmonauts were equipped with triple-barreled pistol.
Nice!
Can anyone think why?
In case someone went mad in space.
No.
Kill themselves?
No.
Well, what else do you need a pistol? You're the guardians, you're either protecting yourself or you end it, aren't you?
It's in case they encountered bears upon landing.
Oh, when they crash back down.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay. I like that. That's cool.
Except some of them had to come like land over Russia, didn't they?
Yeah, they could have gone off course slightly. They could have come down in the wilderness, and before you know it, there's a fucking bear attacking you. Triple barreled as well. That's
I
impressive.
still wouldn't want that on board.
Nah, because if someone does go crazy, then you've all got one.
It'd be a right Mexican standoff, couldn't it?
Yeah. Put the pistol down, Ivan.
Shut up, space cowboy!
I want to go home. We can't fucking go home, you twat. We're stuck on me. The vodka runs out, and that's it.
Yep.
Is that the end?
That's
of
it,
the facts? Right, well, thank you very much for listening. Follow us on Facebook, please. Cutting to the Ball in the PTA. We're the same on SoundCloud and Spotify. YouTube, we are Apocalypse Ball. Follow us on there. I think that's everything. We're available in most places you can find a podcast. Just have a search for us. Give us a listen and some likes, and maybe leave a review if you're kind enough. A good review, though. I don't take criticism well. So, yeah, thank you very much for listening. I've been Ben. Don't drink the Flavour Aid and don't join the cult.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening, peace out, may the force be with you.
And I've been Claire, keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears, guys.
And I'd still be on that fucking shuttle as soon as...